This is episode 69, part 3 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the 3 Quarters podcast. As usual, we'd like to remind you to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support the Kenya Simbas as they are still looking to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Jemima Duffield.
And I'm Narakomi.
So part 3, no rugby at all.
And we start to that, but yeah.
And we start off with football. So Arsene Wenger out. We're thinking, who's coming in? And of course, there are a few names that have been thrown around. You know, we like this guy, we like this guy. So who do you think is going to get it, and why?
I mean, the odds are favoring former Barcelona coach and player Luis Enrique. I think Luis Enrique is more to do with the playing style, because Barcelona and Arsenal have a very similar way of playing. So that's a name that's being mentioned a lot. But if you ask me, the person who should get the Arsenal job, I'd say Diego Simeone, currently coaching Atletico Madrid. The reason why I say that is because Diego Simeone knows how to work with limited resources, which is something that is going to be guaranteed and given at Arsenal. As long as Stan Kroenke is the owner of Arsenal, you can be sure that the financial policies are not going to be favoring you. Therefore, Diego Simeone has he's won the La Liga with a pretty modest team in 2014. He got to the 2014 finals, Champions League finals, only losing to Real Madrid. He got to the 2016 Champions League final, again losing to Real Madrid with a pretty modest team. You know, they don't have the finances that Real Madrid, Barcelona, or the English teams have. So I think he would be able to grind out the results that are needed at Arsenal. Whatever it is and whoever comes, though, it's something I've said and Arsenal fans need to be aware of. As Arsene Wenger's exit does not guarantee instant success. It's going to be a long one coming, but if you ask me, I think Diego Simeone should be the guy to get the job. All right.
So we move on to European football wrap-up. And we start off with the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, where we had in leg 1 of 2. We had Liverpool playing Roma. And Bayern playing Real Madrid. So Liverpool 5, Roma 2. And then the next game, Bayern lost 1 to 1-2 to Real Madrid. So do you wanna go on about that? Or should we move on to the next?
No, I mean, let's talk about Champions League fast. So Liverpool racing to a 5-0 goal. Excellent performance by Mo Salah, who's just been voted the PFA Player of the Year. I think he scored 2 goals and he assisted 2 goals. And then they took Mo Salah off, which reasonable, and Roma get 2 goals. Eden Dzeko and I can't remember who scored the second, but anyway, they get 2 goals. Now, what this does is that, and I'll take you back to the quarterfinals. That's exactly what happened. Barcelona hammered Roma 4-1 at the Nou Camp. When they went back to the Stadio Olimpico, Roma won 3-0, and because of their away goal, that was enough. So if Liverpool are not careful, you'll be going back to the Stadio Olimpico and Roma win 3-0 and Liverpool are out. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Them letting in those 2 goals might actually cost them in the future. This coming week. Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. Bayern are they're looking very lackluster, and conceding going down to Real Madrid at the Allianz Arena in Munich doesn't look too well for them. I don't see them going back to the Santiago Bernabeu and getting the results that they want. So this one looks like a pretty darn tie, but I would not rule out a Jupp Heynckes coached team. So it's going to be interesting, definitely, at the Santiago Bernabeu.
So we move on to Europa League. Semi-finals again, leg 1 of 2. And we had Marseille. You learn something new every day. So they played Red Bull. And they won 2-0. And then Arsenal played Atletico.
Atletico Madrid.
Madrid. And it was 1-1. But I must mention, I mean, I love looking at stats every now and then. I mean, you didn't have to even be there to watch the game. But 76% ball possession, 28 shots, but only 8 on target, and you managed to score 1 goal.
Only 1 goal. It's almost, for an Arsenal fan, that game was very frustrating to watch. All Atletico did, first, it just took a blunder by Shkodran Mustafi for Antoine Griezmann to equalize. But Arsenal dominated that game in every facet, but they unfortunately did not convert their chances. And now you've lost your home ground advantage. Now you go back to Madrid, beating Madrid in Madrid, Atletico Madrid in Madrid is going to be difficult. But it sets up, for the neutrals, it sets up a very mouth-watering clash. So it's going to be interesting for Marseille and Red Bull Salzburg. I think that's pretty done. Marseille are going to be 3 in that one.
Yeah. So we move on to the Grand Prix.
Yes.
Azerbaijan. That.
Yes.
Yes. So Ferrari, Mercedes, Mercedes, Red Bull, Red Bull.
Yes. So Azerbaijan Grand Prix happens in Baku. I think the most spectacle thing about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix was that two Red Bull drivers crashed into each other, i.e. Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. But in the end, Lewis Hamilton came out on top. Kimi Raikkonen in second, and Sergio Perez came in third. So Sebastian Vettel not even having a pole, finishing a podium finish. So that's long and short of it. That's the results for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Yep. Yeah. Then we had some basketball.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs.
Yeah. So the problem with the NBA is that first there are many games that are played. One and two. Every time when us guys are shooting, something has happened, or it's ending. So I'll just be very quick. Celtics have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks 4-3 in the first round. I think the most entertaining game of this round has been the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. Series is tied at 3-3, but I know by the time this episode is dropping, we'll know who has gone through. Toronto beat Washington 4-2, and Philadelphia did away with the Heat 4-1. So we have the conference semifinals, which is going to be the Boston Celtics starting today. Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers, and the winner of Cleveland Cavaliers and the Pacers taking on Toronto, which should also be a very interesting matchup. In the West, Golden State Warriors beat San Antonio Spurs 4-1. The Utah Jazz beat this one hurts. Oklahoma City Thunder 4-2. The Rockets beat the Timberwolves 4-1. And the Pelicans swept the Portland Trail Blazers 4-0. So in the conference semifinals, we already have game 1 of the Golden State Warriors and Pelicans series, which has been won by the Golden State Warriors. I think everyone expected that. And then we have the Houston Rockets taking on the Utah Jazz. That's the Western Conference semifinals. So for the NBA lovers, it's back. We're getting to the point where at least there are not too many games, and you can be able to sit down and watch a game. They come at very weird hours, but I'm sure for the basketball fans, they'll be willing to watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like how we open.
Yeah.
So we move on to our bonus segment.
Yeah.
And this time it's commercial structure or corporate structures rather, and sports. Yeah. And we're discussing like models and structures that have been successful in teams and clubs like around the world that sport have sort of adopted.
Yes.
And then it's which possible models can be adopted to Kenya to make the running of sports organizations rather like successful and attractive.
Yeah, and attractive. Couple of ownerships. I'll start with the most easiest for me, which is Arsenal FC. Arsenal FC are a public company, that's listed on the next exchange in England. So basically, the shares are traded, and their company, and there are the pretty stringent rules that run listed companies. So that's for Arsenal. It's a public company, but most of the ownership in the Premier League is actually private ownership, which is limited liability company, incorporated company with an X amount of shares, and you have one owner. So most of the times we normally find that the private owners, private companies, the limited liability companies, are easier to run in terms of the decision is all about the boss or the person who has the money. Best case scenario using football is Roman Abramovich at Chelsea. At Arsenal, it's a bit difficult to move money and just you can make some decisions just the same, like you're running a kiosk. So that's the first example I'll use. Second example I'll use is Bayern Munich in Germany, which I think is a very interesting model. I like it. It's so basically they have 50+1 in terms of their shareholding, private company, 50+1, which is owned by a trust on behalf of the fans and the people of the Bavaria area. Then the other 40 or the remaining shareholding is either individuals or strategic partners. So, like for example, you find Audi, the car makers, Adidas, are actually shareholders of Bayern Munich. So that's also and I like the model because of the ownership aspect it gives to the local people of that area, Munich. NBA is just like private ownership in football. It's one person or your majority shareholder who's calling the shots. What model do I think would work in Kenya? I think as we speak right now, of course, previously in the previous regime, sports were societies and they were registered under the Societies Act. But with the advent of the Sports Act 2013, I think it frees up a bit for some imagination in terms of how you can own these clubs. I think about the clubs, and let me go back home to rugby, which is easier because the clubs that are run fully LLC. Most of the clubs are societies, but the clubs that are run fully LLC, which is limited liability company, is Homeboys and Nondis, which I think to me is the best idea and the best move they could have done. I know, like at Queen's, it's a trust, and the trustees currently in place is, I know, Richard Njoba, Ambassador Awori, George Karedi, those are the guys, George Karaoke, sorry, those are the guys who are the trustees. But what would I want to see? Or what would I want to see? I think the best model for Kenya is that, many of these sporting teams have some ties to the local areas that they have. So I'd like to see the Bayern Munich kind of way that be adopted. You have 50+1% that's owned by a trust on behalf of the fans and the people of the area. You pay some sort of membership fee into that trust, which goes into running of the team. Therefore, you feel like you own the team, right? You feel like you own the team, and I think that would be the best model to adopt. Then, of course, you free up the other remaining shareholding to be either subscribed by individuals or subscribed by corporate organizations. But definitely we are at the point where we need to be going the limited liability company. Of course, these two structures I'm talking about will be in a private company. So we are definitely at the point where we need to be going that way, because with the trust, even us guys like at Queen's, you pay your subs or you pay your subscriptions, but you don't know how the money is being used. With shareholding, you are accountable. You're accountable to the shareholders for their money. So I think that's a model that should be adopted.
Yeah, I completely get that. And I mean, there was a point I had. I'll tell you after, because we've run out of time. But guys, remember, you can like our page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Demi Duffield.
And I'm Naroka Muya.
And that's it for episode 69.